And now we have come to the time for closing prayers for justice and peace. I am happy to introduce Rabbi Ben Weiner from the Jewish community of Amherst. Rabbi Weiner is a writer, a scholar of Yiddish and Irish literature, a musician and a homesteader, and a dad with a sleeping child in his arms. Thank you for being here.
Thanks. It's my honor to be here today. Just briefly in this closing period, I want to offer a traditional Jewish prayer, and then I want to offer a brief personal reflection, then I want to offer that same prayer again. The prayer is called Modeh Ani, and it's the first prayer that we say in the morning when we get up. And the Hebrew, Modeh Ani, literally means it can mean two things. It can mean I acknowledge, and it can mean I give thanks. And what we say is I acknowledge and give thanks to you for returning my spirit to me in trust and faithfulness, and giving me the opportunity to move forward into this new day. And I'm thinking about this phrase, Modeh Ani, which can mean I acknowledge and give thanks. And in that vein, and in the spirit of this day, there's three kind of brief personal reflections I want to offer. The first is about my great-grandparents who were born in what was the Jewish reservation of Tsarist Russia, the Pale of Settlement, and who came as children on steerage ships to this country following waves of state-sponsored murder, pillage, and rape, and found freedom and eventually prosperity and escaped the more serious genocide that was to come. And although there is a slight tendency sometimes among elder generations of Ashkenazi Jews to see our experiences through the lens of the indigenous people of this continent, I'm aware that that is not the real story. And we have largely eventually found unprecedented refuge as Jews in a place that was opened to us by the genocide and persecution of its original inhabitants. Secondly, I live myself on a 3-acre homestead in Deerfield, a beautiful piece of land as full of life as I can make it, where I grow food for my family, including the Three Sisters crops. We grow indigenous beans, we grow Abenaki corn, we grow squash. And it's only when I take the time to think about it that I remember that this is the land of the Potomac people. And finally, my daughter, who I'm holding in my arms as she sleeps, comes to me from the Tono O'odham people of the Southwest. And though everything was done absolutely appropriately, it was an adoption process initiated by her birth mother, approved by the courts set up by the Indian Child Welfare Act. And I'm actively engaged myself in learning the O'odham language so I can bring her up both in her indigenous and her Jewish heritages. I am acutely conscious of the legacy of babies being removed from indigenous families and the socioeconomic underpinnings that determines who adopts and who gives up children to adoption. So where does this leave me? Modeh Ani. It leaves me with acknowledgement, and it leaves me with gratitude, with thanks. I am grateful that my family and my people found refuge from genocide and dispossession. And I acknowledge that it was at the expense of the genocide and dispossession of other peoples. I am grateful for the land that sustains my body and spirit and provides food for my family. And I acknowledge that I bought it, as they say, off the back of the truck, as you say about goods that have been stolen from somebody else and then sold to you. I am grateful for a daughter who I love as my body and my soul. And I acknowledge that in the most just of all worlds, she might not be mine. Modeh Ani lefanecha. I acknowledge and give thanks before you. And thank you for the trust and the faithfulness for allowing me to walk into this new day.
Thank you so much for your beautiful words of acknowledgement and gratitude. It's just beautiful. Thank you.